we're at part 12 of Utawarerumono. If you remember last time, we met Uratea here. And she's a princess, and she happens to have a little animal with her named Kokopo, who took a liking to Kuon, much to his chagrin. And then these two became friends pretty quickly. Maybe a little too quickly, but... and what else happened? We're going with the caravan back to the capital. And other than that, yeah, if you're new, this is still an okay point to jump in. Basically, we're still very early in the game. Main character has amnesia. And he doesn't know his name even. This girl assigned him a name, Haku, and the girl's name is Kuon, and she assigned him the name Haku. We fought some beasts, but nothing really, like, intelligent yet. There's some mystery elements. It does seem like there's more going on with Kuon than meets the eye. She may be royalty, but we don't know yet. We do know Uratea, who is on the right there, is royalty. So let's go. Let's keep going. So this, I just started here. This is the ending scene from the previous episode. I would very much like to be friends with you. Uratea bashfully reaches out and squeezes Kuon's hand. It's a heartwarming sight. It'd be touching even. If I weren't being crushed by a vice on the side. Oh, Kuon, with your tail. I'm sure it's an emotional moment, but this really hurts. The caravan rolls lazily along the mountain path. Nice day out. The wagon is jostling, and my butt hurts from every bump in the road, but I'm getting used to it. I've got time to just sit back and leisurely gaze at the sky. I'm just gonna see if I can... Those sound effects are just really annoying. Now it's a little too quiet, but... the wind's calm too. It really is peaceful. If only we weren't traveling with extremely valuable bandit magnet cargo. Or this guy lying in the corner of the wagon, reeking to high heavens for that matter. Poke, 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 squish, squish. Squish, 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 poke, poke, poke. What is going on? Oh, these two are with us? Did they... I don't remember in the last episode if they introduced them as part of the caravan. I know, I'm pretty sure I know who they are. These masked figures. They were in the intro, I think, the twins. But I don't know what their deal is. Squish, squish, poke, 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 squish, squish, poke, poke. Meanwhile, I've been unsuccessfully trying to ignore my more, immediate circumstances. What exactly are you guys trying to accomplish here? The mysterious twins, have me sandwiched between them, and have yet to stop poking my cheeks. I've tried talking to them a few times now, but never to any avail. They're just gonna do their thing. I've given up on getting anything out of them. This is downright bizarre. Swish, squish, poke, 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 poke. Really? I could probably just drive them off, but I can't quite bring myself to do it.
ためらわれるというか、かわいそう。
I don't want to scare them or make them timid around me or something. With my discomfort level rising, I glance around the caravan for some kind of help.
マロロはぐったりしたままで役に立ちそうもないか。マロロだしな。
Maruro's not going to be of much use. Not that he'd be helpful if he were awake anyway.
ウコンは先頭を進む馬に乗っている。こちらからは背中しか見えないし、こんなことで呼びつけるにははばかられる距離だ。
And Ukon's riding at the head of the caravan. Probably best not to bother him.
クオンは
Kuon. I quickly scan the caravan for Kuon. Aww. That ridiculously huge bird is trundling along right next to the caravan. On its back, Kuon and Rulatea chat happily. Seems they're having fun opening up to each other.
それはいいとして、話に夢中になってこっちに気づかないか。
That's nice to see. They're so wrapped up in their conversation they probably won't notice my... Kuon suddenly glances toward me. As she notices my gaze, she smiles at me. And then she immediately turns back to Rulatea and resumes chatting. Aww. The enormous bird, however, croons at me in a bid for attention.
ような気がする。見なかったことにしておこう。
I'm gonna pretend I didn't see that bird.
というかむしろこっちがみんなから見なかったことにされてないか。
Hold on. Is everyone else just pretending not to notice what's happening to me with these two? There are... What? There are Ankuum walking alongside the caravan, of course, but not one of them is looking this way. Was that in the glossary? Let's just check. Or is that like... Oh, okay. So these are the soldiers. Those who fight for money sell swords. There are many who travel through the country looking to profit on conflict and war. They are skilled in combat, though generally not known for their loyalty. Yeah. Okay. So there are in Kuam, traveling alongside the caravan, of course, but not one of them is looking this way to help me. In fact, it seems like they're doing everything they can to keep from looking over here. Some are cracking lame, forced jokes or talking about love affairs, or just staring straight ahead. They seem to be keeping a watchful eye on their surroundings rather than on the caravan itself.
なんでこいつらだけは放置なんだ。
Why exactly did these two get left to their own devices? Squish, squish, poke, poke, poke.
気づいてみれば、明らかにみんな自分をつっついている二人から視線を背けているな。
Oh, yeah, I'll turn on the sound effects because maybe they make a noise when they do squish, squish. Now that I pay attention to it, it seems like everyone's keeping their eyes off them, pretty deliberately. I give up.
なんかもう諦めた。頬をつっつかれるだけで実害はないし、みんなが無視じゃなく何も言わないんだ。
I give up already. It's not like they're doing any harm, and if nobody is gonna call them out on it.
危険な存在じゃないってことなんだろう。多分。
I guess the company doesn't really consider them a problem. Doesn't seem like it anyway.
自分が知らないだけで、この地方ではよくある現象に違いない。
I bet they pull mischief like this all the time, and I'm the only one who doesn't... Eh? Oh god. As Maruto thrashes in his agonized sleep, he tugs on the cloth that covers the wagon's cargo. The corner of a bizarre object peeks out, catching my eye.
なんだ?
Pottery? No, not quite. It has a smooth surface like china decorated with intricate patterns. Awkward, forced-together boxes and cylinders make up its shape, strange and irregular. No, definitely not pottery. It's almost like some kind of... Suddenly, the poking at my cheeks stops. Momentarily free and curious to know the cargo's contents, I reach for the barely clinging cloth. Tug tug. Something pulls on my sleeve, stopping me. The mysterious duo have each stopped poking me to grab hold of my sleeves. What? They're not pulling hard, but it's clear they're trying to yank me back from the cargo. Are you guys trying to tell me not to touch it? They seem to give me a subtle nod in quiet unison. Alright then. I'm not sure what the issue is, but if they don't want me to see it, I guess it's not a big deal. Aww. Instead of poking, now they've started stroking my head as if to tell me I'm being a good boy. What the hell is going on? At least we were able to actually communicate for once. Oh well. I'm not gonna dwell on it anymore.
Yosh, 今日はここまでだ。各自野営の準備。歩調班は周囲の警戒を怠るな。
Alright everyone, this is as far as we go today. Sentry squad, set up the watch and prepare to camp. I sit up and I stretch. Must have drifted off. I rouse myself and have a look around, getting my bearings. Those two aren't here. I guess they wandered off. The caravan is parked in an open space off the side of the road, fenced off and protected. A camp? Yeah, looks like we're here for the night. What should I do? I guess I should just lie low until it's time to eat. An unskilled, unseasoned person would just get in everyone's way with the chores, after all. Yep. Oh, Haku. You know you're gonna have to do chores.
Hi, Haku.
Here, Haku. As long as you're up, would you mind taking care of this? Kuon descends on me before I can see her coming, smiling sweetly and holding out a bucket. You knew this was coming, Haku. There's a well over there, so get the cookpot filled up, would you? And then the wash tub after that, and then all the jars we've collected. Got it? Remember, he who doesn't eat, he who doesn't work doesn't eat. Good luck. Ganbatte. Ugh. Ganbatte, Haku. Okay, what's up next? I get to choose. Campfire, camp. Can I save right here? Okay, just in case. I don't know if any of these options blocks anything off. Alright, we're all saved. I'd like to go... I don't know what this is. The encampment? Campfire, encampment, or camp. Let's try encampment. Ukon calls out to me as I emerge from the
あん
tent.
ちゃん、手すきならチート馬の世話を頼まれちゃくれねえか。
Hey kid, if you're free, do you mind tending the sheep for a while? Or steeds?
馬の世話？別に構わんが、何をすればいいんだ？
Tend to the steeds? I don't mind, but what exactly does that, involve?
そこにある餌をやってもらいてえのと、ちょっとした手入れだな。
Nothing too big. Just give them some feed, groom them, and, for a
手
bit.
入れ？
Groom?
ああ、このたわしで皮をこすってやるんだ。
Yeah, you give their skin a good, scrubbing with this brush. It's not really complicated. Ukon holds up a large scrubbing brush, wiggling the bristles in my
こ
direction.
いつで皮をこすってやると気持ちいいらしくてな。馬どもが喜ぶ。
It feels pretty good when you brush them with this. Keeps them nice and happy.
馬は大切な運搬手段だ。しっかり面倒を見てやらねえといけねえし、大切に扱えば向こうもそれに応えてくれるってもんだ。
They're critical to the caravan. If we treat them well, they'll respond in kind and work hard.
へえ、こんなものだね。
Just in exchange for a good scrub, huh?
まあ、あんちゃんも馬に乗るようになればわかるってことよ。
You'll understand better if you start riding steeds, kid. They're special, Wapters are.
そういうことなら手伝うさ。ただ飯ぐらいってのも気が引けるしな。
Alright, if that's all, then I'll help out. I don't want to be a freeloader.
そう言ってくれるとありがてえ。馬はそこの馬車の先に繋いであるから、あとは頼んだぜ。
I appreciate it, kid. The steeds are hitched outside of camp over there. I'll leave the rest to you. Ukon hands me the brush, waves his hand as if to formally confer the duty on me, and then he turns to go.
やっぱどう見ても馬っていうよりダチョウだよな。
No matter how I look at it, these guys look more like ostriches than the word steed conjures in my head. As I approach the Wapters hitched to the fence, they begin to stir, noticing me.
すぐやるから、そう焦るな。
Yeah, so just to get a understanding of what we're looking at, a Wapter. There they are, the little ostrich guys. When in a bad mood, it squawks loudly. Easy there. I'll feed you in a sec, so hold it, will ya?
わあ、
As if from out of nowhere, those two wrapped in their apparel appear crouching next to the feed bin. Alright, once again, I'm just gonna check it. Obviously, we know it's a cloak. We have checked it before. A generic term for cape-like outerwear. There are a variety of apparel, 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 I don't know how they pronounce it. I'm gonna say apparel. Their form and function depending on the region and the climate.
なんだ、驚かせるな。
Jeez, you two, don't scare me like that. They both look at me and tilt their heads in unison, as if to say, did we scare you?
言葉は通じてるんだよな。
They must understand what I've been saying to them to react like that, right?
いつの間にか隣にいてじっと見つめられてたら誰だって驚くだろう。
Anybody would be surprised if you appeared without a word and just stared at them. They look at each other and then back to me, their heads tilting as if to ask, really?
なんという息の合い方。
They're totally synced. That's some coordination. Their precise, perfectly matched movements almost make me want to ask if they're street performers.
ところで、なんか用なのか？
So what do you two want? They share another look, then turn back to stare inscrutably at me.
まあ、眺めてたいなら好きにしてくれ。
If you just want to watch, do as you please, I
こい
guess.
つらのすることを気にしてたらいつまで経っても馬の世話ができんしな。
Not gonna ruin my day. If I stand here figuring out what they want, the steeds will never get fed. I fish what looks like some kind of vegetable from the feed tub, offering it to the nearest Wapter. Those were not good sounds. Oh, jeez. Scary. Maybe it's because they're just hungry, but man, they're really going for it. I could have just lost my fingers now. Not really something I'm eager to have happen, so maybe if I just toss their food to them? Whoa.
お前らまだたっぷりあるんだから喧嘩するな。
Settle down, guys. There's plenty to go around. Crash, thunk, womp.
ダメだこいつら。餌を前に目が血走ってる。このままだと本当に喧嘩を始めそうだ。
It's hopeless. Their eyes are bloodshot with excitement at being fed. This could get out of hand really quickly. I glanced down at the twins, still crouching by the tub of feed.
仕方がない。
I guess I have no choice.
お前ら餌をやったことがあるか?
Hey, you two ever fed a wapter? They slowly turn to stare at me, then they shake their heads.
まあいい。こいつらに餌をやるのを手伝ってくれ。あ、指を噛まれないよう気をつけろよ。
That's okay, I guess. Care to help me feed these guys? Just try not to get bitten. They each nod, then reach into the feed bin, holding their offerings out to the wapters.
そんなやり方だと指を噛まれ。
Are they gonna lose their fingers like that? Or so I thought, but the wapters calmed down in short order, eating peacefully from their hands. As the wapters eat, the duo gently stroke the sides of the steed's heads, soothing them.
餌をやったことがないと言いつつ手慣れてるんだな。こっちはとは危ないなちきしょう。
They said they've never fed wapters, but they seem awfully familiar with. Yikes, close one. What's he talking about? What was close one?
こっちの方は指ごと食らう勢いで一心不乱にがっついてるんだが、なんなんだこの差は。
With me, they're devouring their food, with enough force to pull my fingers off. What gives?
まあ嫌われてはいないみたいだが、妙に発するというか。
It doesn't seem like they hate me. They're just oddly eager?
あのバカ鳥といい、ここいらの動物は妙に興奮気味な奴らばかりだな。
That stupid fat bird gets all worked up around me too. All the animals around here seem to.
あ、そうだ。よかったらたわしでこいつらの体をこすってやるのを手伝ってくれないか。
I know. If you'd like, do you two want to help me scrub these guys down?
自分一人だと大変っていうか、興奮したこいつらにもみくちゃにされそうな気がしてきた。
It'd be hard to do on my own with the wapters all antsy like this. They'd probably just mob me. The cloaked figures nod. With the short, bristled scrubbing brushes in hand, they begin to brush the wapter's body. Aww. As the bristles pull across their skin, the wapters let out low, contented cries.
なるほど。あんな感じでやればいいのか。
I see. So that's how you do it, huh? Suddenly and abruptly, the wapter nearest to me slams my chest with a headbutt.
何すんだお前。一瞬体がくの字に折れ曲がったぞ。
What was that for? My whole ribcage almost collapsed. The wapter ignores my complaints, nudging me with a brush clamped in its beak, demanding a scrub.
なんだ早くやれって。
What, you want me to hurry up and do it?
いってわかったからたわしをカゴに押し付けるな。
Right already. Stop pushing it into my face. Aww.
ここか？ここがいいのか？
Here, is this the spot you like, big guy? As I pull the brush over its body, it starts to breathe harder and stamp its feet in excitement.
こ こら、嬉しいのは分かったから落ち着け。蹴り殺す気か。
I get it. It feels good, but calm down. If you kick me to death, nobody's gonna scrub you at all. With those thick, muscled legs, it wouldn't take much for a creature like this to do me in.
やれやれ。あっちのおとなしい方を担当すればよかった。
Oh man, why did I get stuck with this guy and not the gentle ones the twins have? No sooner than the thought crossed my mind, two massive, feathered shapes slam into me. You guys too? The two Wopters, the roped pair, had been in charge of, nudged me with their brushes, just like the first. Why are you... Where did those two go off to? The mystery twins have disappeared without so much as a word, as usual. Yikes. The Wopters stomp and strut, worked into a tizzy, thrusting the brushes at me insistently. Aren't you supposed to be the gentle ones? Quit jabbing me with the brush. I'll do it, okay? Oh, wow. Why me? Would you wait just a goddamn... Wait. Yay. Where have you guys been? You know what? It's not like you're gonna answer. Can I get some help here? The pair tug on my sleeve, ignoring what I'm saying as they point at an approaching shape. The sound of footsteps that are somehow at once both heavy and bouncy fill my ears. Oh no. Kokopo? My controller is vibrating right now. And then, with that distinctive bird song... Don't tell me. I can't believe it. Aww. That troublesome bird bounds into the paddock, chirping with bubbly enthusiasm. And holding a scrubbing brush in its beak. A2, Kokopo? A2, Brutus? Okay, so we do get the choice of these extra... At least one more, thing. So, I'll probably go to the camp next. I figure the campfire will be where, maybe Kuon will be, and the camp will be where, Ruatea will be, but we'll see. I'd like to hang out with Ruatea. Now that is a big pot. An enormous cook pot hangs over a stove in the corner of the campground, sizzling happily away. Not too far away, Amam is being baked, a tall pile of the doughy skins already stacked on the table. Oh, Master Haku, what seek thee hereabouts? I gotta get back to his voice. Oh, Master Haku, what seek thee hereabouts? Maruo takes note of me and swaggers over, a bag in his arm. I'm just watching the proceedings. I'd never considered how much work goes into feeding so many people. Verily, 'tis my own first sojourn amongst a company of such great number, to be sure.
そういうマロロは何をしてるんだ？
And what are you doing?
マロでおじゃるか？マロはそうでおじゃる。お手伝いの最中でおじゃった。
What I? Ah, gadzooks. Duty compelleth steadfast Marrow to assist the sweetling, Lady Ruthea.
手伝い？
You're helping out, huh? Marrow frantically looks around for Ruthea, hurrying over to her as soon as he spots her.
ルルティエ様、頼まれたお塩でおじゃる。
Miss Ruthea, look thee not a moment longer for thy table salt. I have found the thing itself. Proudly, he holds out the bag in his hand to Ruthea.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you. A simple kitchen area has been set up beneath the tent, chopped fruits and veggies arranged on a table. Ruatea stands at the table and pulls a solid chunk from Maruro's bag, crushing it into powder.
ハク様？
Ah, Sir Haku.
もしかしてルルティエが料理を作ってるのか？
You're cooking, Ruatea.
こんなことくらいですか。皆さんのお役に立てませんから。
This is all I can really do to help everyone, so...
しかしこの人数を用意するのは大変じゃないか？
Isn't it hard preparing food for so many people at once, though?
いえ。
Not really.
お城の厨房は私が取り仕切っていましたから。
I used to manage the kitchens at the castle, so...
へえ、お姫様だと聞いていたから意外だな。
I wouldn't have thought a princess would be doing that kind of manual labor.
もっときらびやかというか、そういったのとは無縁だと思ってた。
I figured you'd be a little more, I don't know, detached from all that.
私の家は辺境の一豪族なので、そんな格式の高い家ではありませんから。
Well, my family only rules the outlands, so we're not very powerful as nobles go.
それにクオン様も手伝ってくださいますし。
Miss Kuon is helping me too, of course.
クオンも？
Kuon too, huh?
私が料理を手伝ってるのが
What are
そんな
you...
に意外なのかな？
Excuse me. What, are you surprised that I'm helping out?
うわっ！
It is a little difficult when I have these multiple female voices. Kuon's voice suddenly speaks from right behind me, and I jump almost a full foot into the air. I turn to find her smiling, but it doesn't quite extend to her eyes.
ハクと出会う前は一人旅をしてたんだから、一通りできるのは当たり前なんだけどな。
You may recall I was traveling alone before I picked you up. I had to do everything myself.
いや、別にクオンが料理ができないなんて。あ。
No, I wasn't trying to imply that you can't.
ハクはそこで見てるといいかな。私の技を見せてあげるから。
You just watch and witness my skills for yourself, non-believer. Kuon deftly twirls a kitchen knife in her hand as she makes this proclamation, pointing it at me.
料理が下手と言われるのに嫌な思い出でもあるのか？
Does she have bad memories of being told she's a poor chef or something? Yeah, was she a good cook? I
ルル
forget.
ティエ、お塩はこのくらいでいいかな。
Ruletea, are you sure that much salt will be okay?
もうちょっと濃い方がいいと思います。
I thought it might be better if the flavor was just a little bit stronger.
皆さん働き盛りですから、少し塩辛い方が好まれるかと。
Everyone's working so hard. I just figured more salt would help replace what they're sweating out.
そっか、そう言われるとそうかも。
That makes sense. Good point.
うーん。
I can tell I'm not gonna be any help. so I retreat to the edge of the tent to watch from the side.
ルルティエ様の手料理楽しみでおじゃるな。
But to sup upon such victuals as those wrought by the Lady Ruletea's own hand, how I hunger!
確かにあの二人がどんな手料理を振る舞ってくれるのか興味がないと言えば嘘になるな。
He's right. I gotta admit, I'm looking forward to seeing what handmade dishes come out of this.
ん
Ruletea approaches me with a small plate, offering it meekly.
どうぞお味見を。
Here, please taste this, if you wouldn't mind.
これは
What's this? Simmered food sits lovingly arranged on the plate in her hands, steaming enticingly.
お口に合うといいんですけど。
I hope it's to your liking.
おなかなかにうまそうだ。
Wow, it looks delicious. I take a simmered skewer from the plate, eagerly sampling the food impaled on it.
絶妙な塩加減だ。優しい口当たりでどこか懐かしい感じの味がするな。
It's cooked thoroughly, seasoned with a perfect amount of salt that doesn't overwhelm. A homey, rustic flavor.
こりゃうまい。ルルティエって料理上手なんだな。
Oh, this is amazing. You're an excellent cook, Ruletea. Aww.
あ、ぶしつけだったか。姫さんって呼ばないとな。
I'm sorry. Am I supposed to call you, Hime-sama, princess? That was probably rude of me.
ルルティエと呼んでください。
No, please. Call me Ruletea.
じゃあ今度はこっちの味見ね。
Here, try mine next.
クオンもできたのか。そんじゃ遠慮なく。
Oh, you made some too? Don't mind if I do. My hand freezes halfway to the plate Kuon is proffering.
ああ、クオン？
Kuon.
何かな？
これは一体なんだ？
She's like, what is this? What is it? What exactly is this food?
見ての通り煮物に決まってるかな。
Simmered skewers. Same thing Ruletea is making.
うん。確かに煮物なんだが。
It's, definitely, simmered. Alright.
少しでかすぎやしないか？大きさはルルティエのと比べて5倍ほどある。
Isn't it a little, big? It's 5 times the size of the one Ruletea.
さあ味見してみて。
Now have a taste.
いや、味見って。これって1食分の量があるだろう。
This is a meal, not a taste.
こりゃ一口では食えんな。そもそも串が重量に耐えきれず折れそうだ。
It's generous to even call this a skewer. The wooden rod itself is bending under the strain of the meat's weight. I carefully take the behemoth in my hands, then bite into it with a reluctant vigor with all the reluctant vigor I can muster.
そんな少しずつじゃなくて一口でガプって。
Come on, don't nibble on it little by little like that. Take the whole thing in one mouthful.
あち、無茶言うな。
Ha ha ha. Come on, be reasonable.
まずくはないが、外側の味が濃い上に大きすぎて中にまで味が染みてないぞ。
It's not bad per se, but the flavor is all on the outside. The meat hasn't absorbed a bit of it.
100歩譲ってクオンの言う通り、一口で食べればちょうどいいのかもしれんが。
I suppose if I take it all in one bite like she wants me to, it'd be more spread out, but...
どうかな？
How is it? Kuon has a very proud look on her face.
本人が食う分にはうまいんだろうが、こうも自信ありげだと正直に言いづらいものが。
It's probably exactly to her taste, but I don't know how to break this to her.
まあ、うん。まあうまいじゃないか。
It's good, I guess.
そうでしょう。もうすぐ出来上がりだから楽しみにしてて。
I thought so. The full batch is almost ready, so there'll be more where that came from.
まあまあうまい。
I'm using good liberally, of course. It's fairly good. Good adjacent. Rilete gives a small chuckle from beside me. When I look over to her, she quickly averts her eyes bashfully.
にしてもお姫様って割には家庭的な感じなんだな。
She's awfully down to earth for a princess.
お高く止まった感じがなくって親しみやすいっていうか。
She doesn't have the haughtiness I would have expected, not to mention she's approachable.
ああ、それにしてももう腹がいっぱいなんだが。
Anyway, at this rate, I'm gonna be full before dinner is even ready. Okay, what's up next? Well, you have no other choice. Should we keep going? I guess. Let me take one little short reprieve. Yeah, I'll keep going.
Yo, Anchan. 今暇かい?
Hey, kid, you got a moment? As I wrap up the task Kuan assigned me, Ukon flags me down. So it looks like we were supposed to do this first, and then those other things, but it doesn't really matter.
暇といえば暇だが、さっきまでこき使われていたんだ。何か手伝えってのならお断りだぞ。
I'm free, but if you need my help, I'm gonna have to decline. I've been busting my butt all day.
さすがのアンちゃんもあの姉ちゃんには頭が上がらねえか。
Missy's really got you under her thumb, huh? And he calls her Onechan, which isn't that like kind of like Big Sis?
当たってるだけに言い返せん。
He's right, of course. I can't exactly argue.
まあ、そいつは置いといてだ。
Well, in any
アン
case.
ちゃんはこういった荒事に慣れてねえみてえだからな。ちゃんと獲物を手入れしてるか気になってな。
You're not used to this rough and tumble mercenary stuff, right? You've been taking care of your weapon.
手入れ?
Care?
やっぱりか。ま、仕方ねえな。
I figured as much. I guess it can't be helped. Ukon draws his sword, muttering under his breath.
こいつだこいつ。あんちゃん、あれからまだ獲物を手入れしてねえだろ。
You haven't maintained your weapon at all since we've been in combat, huh? Well, let me show what I mean.
時間のある時にちゃんと手入れしておかねえと、いざって時に命取りになるぜ。
If you don't care for the blade when you have the time, you can wind up paying for it in a crisis. Ukon sits and pulls a cloth and what looks like whetstones from his bag, laying them across his knee.
言われてみれば。
Now that he mentions it, I withdraw Kuon's fan from my sash and look over at it. It has a heft to it, heavy in my fingers and thick when its blades are folded up like this. When I actually used it, I could tell right away it was forged solely for inflicting pain.
かなり手荒に扱っといて、そのまま放置だったな。
I handled it pretty roughly, honestly, without much care for the state of the weapon itself.
やっぱまずいか。
I guess it's bad that I've just kind of left it alone since then. Ukon smiles wryly, setting a whetstone to the steel of his katana.
そいつに自分の弾預けるんだ。まずいどころじゃねえな。それこそ恋人や女房のように扱ってやんねえとな。
So koibi means lover. So when he says lover, it's in the translation it'll be koibi. When you take up the blade, you entrust your life to it, treat it like you would a lover or a spouse.
確かにその通りなんだろうが、こんなのどうやって手入れするんだ？
But that said, how do I care for whatever this fan thing is?
普通に刃物の手入れとかなら見よう見まねでなんとかできそうな気もするが、これはちょっとな。
If I were maintaining a sword, I could just follow someone else's example, but this is different.
どれちょいと貸してみな。
Like, that brings to question, though, like, how do you even fight with the fan? Did they explain that earlier? I might have to go back and check. Like, does he just smack things with it? Does it slice into things? Like, I don't really understand. Is it, like, magical? I don't know. Here, let me see it.
できるのか？
You know how to maintain it?
こんな商売を続けてりゃ大抵のもんはな。
In
さすがにこいつは珍しいが、できないってわけじゃねえさ。
my line of work, you learn to care for any kind of blade. This fan's a rare thing, sure, but the basics still apply. As Ukon takes the fan, he holds it up to the light and he squints at it from various angles.
ほう。
Ah, look at you. Ukon suddenly smiles in what looks like admiration.
結構な代物とは思っていたが、こいつはまた。
Now this. I knew it was a special piece, but this is something else.
こいつはなんだ？
It's, what exactly?
いろんな意味で面白い。間違いなく曰くつきってやつだな。
Ah, there's a lot to take in. Any good weapon has a story behind it, and this guy's definitely been in a lot of places.
なあ、呪われてるとか言わんよな。
You're not gonna say it's cursed or something, are you?
ああいう意味じゃねえよ。まあ、呪われてたとしても何の不思議もねえけどな。
Ha, I don't mean it like that. Wouldn't surprise me, though.
不思議じゃないのかよ。
Huh, it wouldn't surprise you? Great. That's good. Cool.
まず、こいつが何でできてるかな。
Well, first, there's whatever it's forged from. As Ukon taps the metal with his fingernail, it emits a high-pitched, resonant ringing.
鋼じゃねえな。もっと硬い別の何かだが、何かわからん。
It's not steel, that's for sure. Something much harder. Though I can't say exactly what.
あれだけ乱暴に扱ったってのに、賭けも曲がりもしてやしねえとな。
You've been handling it quite roughly, but it hasn't even chipped or bent at all.
で、次はこの仕掛けだ。
And then there's the question of this. I guess you could say mechanism?
仕掛け？何か仕掛けなんてあったのか？
A mechanism? What kind of mechanism?
気づかなかったのか？こうして扇を目いっぱい広げてだ。
You didn't notice it? Watch when you spread the fan all the way out.
そこからさらに広げようとすると、見てな、結構えぐいぜ。
There. And if you try to spread the blades further, well, it's pretty nasty. Watch. Whoa! As a flick of Ukon's wrist, blades abruptly spring from the fan
仕
surface.
込まれた隠し場が飛び出すって寸法だ。
Hidden blades pop out. It's a clever little contrivance, I gotta admit.
こんな機能があったのか。しかし、えぐいってほどのものか。
Like, so am I gonna get a power upgrade when I get into the next battle? Because now he knows how to use it? It had this hidden function all along, huh? And this is considered nasty?
いや、確かに驚いたが、歯が隠してあるくらいは普通だと思うが。
I mean, it took me by surprise, but I think hidden blades are pretty standard tactic.
じゃあ、この洗面に細かな溝が掘られてるのはわかるか？
Well, look here. See the little grooves along each blade segment?
ああ、これか。
Ah,
確かに
these?
あるな。
They're difficult to see at first, but each fold of the fan has thin, deep grooves through it.
これがどうかしたのか？
What about him? Ukon produces a water skin, upending it and allowing a few drops to dribble into a dip in the fan. As the droplets disappear into the grooves, moisture spreads across the whole weapon in bare moments. So, is it something like bleeding? It causes bleeding? I don't know. As water condenses into droplets on the tips of the hidden blade, I can't help but groan as I grasp the implications.
この刃先に触れたら、たとえかすり傷であっても。
Anyone who suffers even a little nick or scratch from something like this.
そういうことか。確かにえぐいな。
Yeah, okay. Nasty is definitely the word.
ちなみにこいつの表面、綺麗に磨かれちゃいるが、うっすらと模様になってるだろう。
The broad
血と薬品が染み込んだ後だな。
Excuse me? The broad surface may be polished and clean, but see these little patterns? Blood in the grooves.
つまり血が染み込むまで使い込んでるってわけだ。はてさて、こいつはどれだけの命を食らってきたんだか。
A weapon like this? You gotta wonder how many lives it's claimed to accumulate such deep stains.
あんちゃんの言う通り、本当に呪われてたりしてな。
Who knows? Could be cursed after all, like you said.
おい、冗談のつもりだろうが、シャレになってないぞ。
I know you meant it as a joke, but that's not funny, man.
悪い。俺も言っててそう思った。
Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
あのな。
What's he... Ukon unfastens the pivot, holding the individual pieces of the fan together, painstakingly disassembling it.
ああ。どこも歪みはねえし、欠けてもいない。これなら問題はねえか。
No warping or chipping. If that's the case, it doesn't look like it'll need repairs or anything.
しかしクオンがなんでこんな物騒なもの？
Why would Kuon be carrying such a dangerous tool? Just to add to the mystery that is Kuon.
あの姉ちゃん、よっぽどあんちゃんを買っているか、信頼してるらしいな。
Seems our Missy thinks highly of you to trust you with something like this.
クオンが自分を？
Kuon thinks highly of me?
なんでだ？
What makes you say that?
こいつを見りゃわかるさ。こんだけ心を込めて手入れしてやるんだ。よほど大切にしてきた思い入れのある品なんだろう。
I can tell just by looking she's put her heart into maintaining this. It's got sentimental value.
そいつをなんとも思ってねえやつに預けるとはとても思えねえがな。
I doubt she'd entrust someone she didn't at least respect with something so special to her.
よし、こんなもんでいいか。
Alright, that should do the trick. Ukon wipes down each component of the fan, then he puts it back together in short order.
おれよ、できたぜ。今度は自分でもできるよう手入れの仕方を姉ちゃんに教わっとくんだな。
Here, all done. You ought to have her show you how she maintains it, so you can start doing it yourself.
おう。
Good point. With that, Ukon turns to go. I ought to thank him, but it slips my mind as I stand transfixed, staring dumbly at the weapon. Ukon's words echo in my mind.
思いが込められたものか。
Sentimental value, huh?
なぜクオンはそんな大切なものを自分に渡した？
Why would Kuon give me something so important to her? I spread and closed the fan repeatedly, fidgeting with it for no real reason.
なあ、クオンは何を考えている？お前に込められた思いとは。
What sentiment has she poured into you, huh? What's your story? The fan remained silent, only glimmering in the light in lieu of giving an answer. at the very least, I think I'm gonna save and maybe restart this episode and so I can continue a little bit more. So yeah, I'll see you next time.